family has arrived, and are you able to tell us indeed that the program is officially underway?
Well, Oli, I've got the IFP KZN chairperson, Mr. Thami Ntuli. I can confirm to you that the IFP's president, Hlabisa, has already arrived, and so any moment from now we should be expecting the arrival of the family. Let's bring in Mpemba for now, and it's a sad moment for you as the chairperson of the KZN region in particular, because it's the IFP's stronghold. Reflections of Mntwana Kapindangen.
Well, it's a very hard time, not only to myself, to the IFP, not only the IFP, to the nation, but more especially as the mayor of King Cetshwayo. We worked very close with Mntwana, even while I was the mayor in Kanja. He used to come for his beliefs when we're advocating the principle of self-help and self-reliance, to ensure that the most impoverished communities, they are assisted, in fact, to start their own initiative that can change their lives. He pursued, in fact, the integrity in all our municipalities. He made it a point that he encouraged all of us to ensure that we understand that leading government is not about yourself as a leader or a mayor, but it's about the people whom you are leading. You know, we have lost a humble leader. We have lost a leader who loved peace. We have lost a leader who will always advocate for reconciliation even when times were quite very difficult. And we have lost a giant who was a hard worker, who worked tirelessly to ensure that he leave the legacy that no time will ever erase, especially in the province of KwaZulu-Natal. As I always recall the time when we visited Dr. Kani Kaunda, for the words that he said, Shenge, for taking a risk on our, in fact, mandate to establish a membership-based organization. You did not only risk yourself, but also your family's life. But what you did not only liberate South Africa, but even African countries benefited from your contribution. In fact, for the fact that the government have granted that level of the funeral, the category of the funeral, it must confirm for everyone who might have any doubt or who might have had any narrow street politics analyst that this is a liberator. This is a servant of the people. This is a leader who preserved the identity of the nation by ensuring that we have a Makosi in their form, and we have the king who is highly respected. We have the land which people own, such as the Ngonyama Trust land.
I want to know your fondest personal memories of yourself with Mntwana.
Well, even when I got married, Mntwana was there. We'll smile most of the time when we meet, and will always refer to me on my clan name, Sompis. And I know that at times when we're having conversation, when something going very well, we'll not use Sompis, which is the common one. We'll use Mbele to make me, being young, to feel important. Not, in fact, to be afraid because I'm next to a giant leader of his statue, a global icon. But Mntwana, you know, for everyone he actually came across, even people others may think were not that significant. Mntwana will show us that there is no person who is not important in life. In fact, at his heart, he was a giver. At all the times, Mntwana will want us to help people. I remember at one moment when he assisted someone he never knew with 10,000 rand as to go and register to study medicine in Cape Town. Today, that one is a doctor. There are so many people, in fact, that have benefited from that kind of personality. Was full of integrity, Mntwana. Mntwana, in fact, will always even teach us as how to behave as leaders, as to how he was a family man. I recall that all the times Mntwana will say, whenever is meeting someone, will find something to bring that person closer in such a way that will quote one of the family tree, his family tree, to say, my grand so-and-so was that surname. So to me, you are directly related. That was the kind of a leader who gave everyone love, but he was strict. He did not want people to do what was not supposed to be done, and he wanted people to be neat in whatever that they do, because he wanted that kind of leadership that people will always say, these are our role models.
What emotions are you feeling now as you see the rank and file singing songs in his name, in his praises? I mean, certainly as the party moves forward, yes, you won't be able to separate the IFP from Shenge, but the future of the organization, in your views, what does it look like?
We believe as the leaders of the IFP, we need to come together and support one another, but mostly work hard, because Umntwana was not a lazy leader. Umntwana was always at work. In fact, the way he built this party was not through standing in podiums, but Umntwana had to walk doors and doors, knock different doors, to ensure that people had received the message about the IFP, received the message about saving the lives of those who are, in fact, not thought to be important. And I'm of the view that if we can be able to work together, if we can be able to support one another, and more especially if we can be able to work hard each and every moment of our life to serve the people, then the future of the party is bright, because you'll see that even in KwaZulu-Natal, people have been demonstrating through by-elections each and every time that IFP is at an upward trajectory. And we are of the view then that Umntwana left the IFP at a very important climax, which we need to sustain as the leadership of the IFP.
All right, that's IFP KZN. A chairperson, Thami Ntuli. I want us to walk. I've seen from the corner of my eye Amabutho coming down from the street right outside the stadium. So we're going to leave the red carpet a little bit and try to keep walking, Siyabonga, as we try and get closer to where Amabutho are. I can tell you as well that the EFF's Hlengiwe Mkhaliphi and Mbuyiseni Ndlozi are amongst those who have come here to the IFP's memorial. There's also been the other party leaders who've been welcomed. Phemi Majodino, who you would have seen earlier on with Parliament's delegation. She's the ANC's chief whip in Parliament. She is also here at the Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi Stadium. So just bear with us as we stand here. This is where a lot of the rank and file have been coming to pay tribute. So this area where we come from is where the dignitaries come in, but there is an overflow area, so they would come and stop right here, sing songs in praise of Umntwana kaPhindangene, and then make their way to the overflow area. So we're going to just try keep moving quite swiftly as we make our way towards Amabutho. You'll know that Umntwana kaPhindangene was a leader in his own right within the royal family. Amabutho would have their own ceremonies to actually, accord and afford to Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi as an elder, even within the royal family. You'll know that even during the time there would be issues within the royal family, he'd always be flanked by senior members of the royal family, including Umntwana Philemon from Wafihli Ngwendi, the Queen Mothers, Mavis Zungu as well. And these are all the testaments to his belief in traditional leadership. I don't know if you can hear the sirens in the background, but these are the rank and file. Sanbona, you're live on Newzroom Afrika. Nizothini kumntwana kaPhindangene? Njengoba ngasekuseni yasaba futhi.
singabalesi sizile sosingatha ushenge lapho silinyalelwe umtho omkhulu kithi lo ungithatha umthonjana phansi le ku Ward 3 yithi lapha eMelmont Ward 9 impela ubabona nje sibahle sinje sosingathi ikhehla lethu sibonge la
nathi siyabonga. And so those are just some of the rank and file of the IFP who have come to the stadium. As you can see, there seems to be an advanced vehicle here, perhaps signaling the arrival of the family. So I'm just going to pick up my feet a little bit because we're getting closer to where I believe Amabutho are stationed, because they came down from the top of the street, and we know that there are many who have been arriving at Kwapindangene over the last couple of days, and this morning was no different, with the delegation led by Nosiviwe Maphisa-Nqakula, the National Assembly Speaker, spending decades as an MP in Parliament. So right now we're close to the gates of the stadium, where there are many who have come here to pay tribute. Thousands, in fact, have now arrived here at the Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi Stadium. We expect the program to get underway any moment from now, but there continues to be a huge contingent of those coming in their dozens to pay tribute to Mntwana kaPhindangene, which is, the name he's been given for the royal household. So vehicles coming in and out of the venue, many also being directed, to go to a different direction. And so as we try and get a vantage point from outside, to my left, I know my colleague Kidumeti will show you, some of those who have come here dressed in their traditional regalia. As we've mentioned, we also saw yesterday then the Kokta Minister Thembi Nkadimen leading a delegation, as well as the House of Traditional Leaders. My colleague Kidumeti will show you then Amabutho to my left, where they have now also congregated. We know that for the official funeral, there will be some aspects that have, Amazulu traditional customs and tradition. So right at the bottom of the street of where we are stationed at Gate 4, that's where you can see Amabutho who have come here to pay tribute to the Amazulu traditional prime minister, and there will be certain ceremonies that take place, and which is why then the family has asked that from tomorrow no mourners will be allowed to actually descend upon Kwapindangene to pay tribute, and should rather wait for the funeral that's also going to be taking place at the stadium where we currently are. We are stationed at the sports grounds, where a dome has been set up by the IFP, and it would seem like Amabutho had stopped to conduct Amahubo, which are prayers, and they look like they're set to be on the move any moment from now.